Hey, I just wanted to come to you guys and give you a little of my personal background and experience and observations about the post office, what's going on right now with the post office, and what we can do as business owners, resellers, to make it as most effective as possible, that we don't run into any glitches, any holdups, anything that will disrupt our business. Because to be honest, one of the most important things about our business is the shipping aspect, the logistical aspect of it, and we have to get that dialed in and make sure that that's fine-tuned, dialed in before the holidays gets here, and the holidays are almost here. All right, just a little background on myself. I've been with the post office since 2006. I've been a letter carrier. I started up in the Chicago area. Now I'm down here in Kansas. Been doing it for a little while. Additionally, on top of that, I've been in the Navy since 1993. I'm coming up to the end of been in it about 28 years. So that chapter's closing. Going to continue with the post office probably another 7.5 before I punch out of there. And I picked up reselling, started my own business. A few months ago, jumped in with the group. Have been listening to Daily Refinement for damn near a year or so. Well, actually, probably the beginning of the year. I hit all his free podcasts, YouTube, jumped on board the group, and this group is awesome. And a lot of the angst I've noticed is that a lot of discussion is about shipping, and actually not really shipping, but your relationship with the Postal Service. And I listened to everything after the fact. I'm never on any of the lives Zoom meetings, but there's a lot out there that I can feel the frustration, and I feel it. Before I get too wrapped into it, I just want to give a disclaimer. These are everything I'm going to bring to you are my opinions from my experience. I do not represent the post office whatsoever. I don't represent the Navy whatsoever, but I've got all these years of experience. I just want to just throw them out to you guys. I don't represent the NALC, the National Association of Letter Carriers Union, but I just want to know that this is how I'm feeling and what we can do to make this process a little bit better. I'll throw on these old man spectacles here. Thing about the post office right now is we just found out that they're going to slow down first class mail, and you got to understand the reason behind that. It's 100% political. Okay, our new postmaster general, which got appointed during the last administration, was a big political supporter. And he was heavily involved with the XPO, which is a big logistics company. They do a lot of freight services and everything. But once he became appointed as a postmaster general, he relinquished his position there. However, he has a lot of family and a lot of indirect ties to that company. One of the reasons why there is going to be a slowdown because they just awarded, ironically, XPO a $120 million contract to provide logistical support for the post office. And that's why a lot of first class mail is going to go on the ground instead of going through the air. Okay, and so you can look at the political ramifications of that all you want, but that's what's happening. Okay, the post office itself right now is a little bit of disarray because of the leadership and trying to fine tune and overcome this stigma of we're just trying to slow down mail and everything. But for the majority of us, we are trying to do our jobs as safely, efficiently, and effective as possible. Okay. One thing right now is that the post office is, you've probably heard, they want to hire about 40,000 people. Okay, for the help with the holiday season. Actually, that's probably 20,000 less than what we actually need to be effective. But also, it's about what we're actually probably going to get is about 20,000 of those 40,000. And by the time the holiday season gets around here, we'll probably only be keeping 10. That's just the attrition of new personnel coming on board. What that means is you have to, like Tech says, you have to expect delays and plan and anticipate that. All right, and it's our fault. It's our ultimate responsibility to make sure things get where they need to be when they need to get there, even though a lot of it is out of our control. I know a lot of people are having problems when they go to the post office to get the service that they are requesting, that they're expecting and they deserve. One thing I want to tell you guys is do not go to the post office within a half hour of them closing, okay? Because the post office runs on a 24-hour clock, okay? They don't turn off the doors and go home. They lock the doors and they got to process all that mail that comes in at the last minute, get it to where get it separated, divided to where it needs to go, so it gets in the right bins, so it gets on the truck where the truck isn't going to wait, and move on to the next, post office and so on and so forth to the processing plant. They can't wait on us, okay? If you're going in there in the last minute and dropping stuff off, your stuff may not, even though it got accepted, it may not get out till the next day, depending on what time of day it is and how much mail volume they have. So to ensure that your stuff goes out when you need it to go out, you need to get there early. All right. What I recommend is, if you are doing any type of volume, go in there without your packages, without your stuff, when they're slow, and talk to the counter supervisors, okay, and find out when it would be best for you to come and bring these items. If you just roll in there with a shit ton of packages and say, I need these scanned, do your job, and try to be a hammer and pound a nail, the thing about it is their matrix doesn't matter. They don't have a matrix about their customer service. They don't have. We used to in the day have what do you call those mystery shoppers come in, and the clerks had to run through a little spiel. Hey, would you like to do this? And as long as they ran through it, they're fine. They're only allotted so many minutes per customer, whether they purchase stuff or not. Ideally, they'd like to, but buy stamps and all that stuff. But they really need to just funnel people in and out. Okay, they don't really. There's not a matrix that they're held accountable for scanning your packages. Okay, if they do or they don't, it doesn't matter. Or the overall scheme of things, it doesn't matter. And so what they're going to do is they're going to bring the stuff in, and they want to get it from the counter, separated, divided, throw it in the proper bins, and on the truck. Boom, that's it. Hopefully it gets scanned in that process, but there's no way of knowing that it will or will not unless you actually physically see them scan it. Okay, so like I said, I'd recommend going into the post office without your gear, without the stuff that you want shipped. Talk to somebody, bring donuts, bring whatever to grease the skids, because that's probably one of the only ways that if you go to a busy post office, they get your stuff done. If you're going in there and the line's out the door, they're processing people as fast as they can. They want to get your mail, and it's not that they don't want to scan it. They want to get it on the truck and move it to the next destination so it can get processed. So it goes on to the next destination, so it gets processed, moved out, either go by air, go by freight, and get to where it needs to go. What I found is the earlier you go to the post office to get it processed, you may get your mail there, your packages there first thing in the morning, and it's already on a truck by 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock and already out the door. Otherwise, it waits till later on. Strongly recommend you get a receipt, okay? It takes a little extra time, but if you have a good working relationship with them, they'll be able to do that for you. Don't go in there and just start demanding shit, because they don't need it. They're not judged on how you feel when you leave, okay? They are on to the next customer to move it through, because you know what? You don't have to use their services, all right? Each post office there are different levels of post office, and it's graded on the volume and also the delivery points and stuff. That's how they can tell how large or how small the post offices are. Your one customer coming in there is not going to make that big of a deal, and it's not going to move the meter one way or the other, okay? But treating them with respect, going in there with a good attitude, knowing it's like the DMV, knowing that it's going to suck sometimes. But if you go there early, not late, if you go there early and you get there before the rush, on a downtime, and they know you, and it's consistently coming in, always coming in with a smile, always coming in there, they want to work with you just like you want to work with them. Okay, give and take. The majority of the people want to do a good job, but sometimes there are outside circumstances that put people in a bad mood, i.e. sometimes management aren't leading as effectively as they need to. And so sometimes obviously that will affect their mannerisms. Okay. Carriers. Okay. When you're dealing with your letter carriers, I'm going to tell you some of what I see people doing, and they might have been doing it for years, scares me to death. For example, well, first of all, always, always, always develop a good relationship with your letter carrier or letter carriers. Okay, find out who they are, get to know them. Spend that extra time, and the reason being because they are, your partners in running an effective business. Okay, because they if they're not doing what they need to do, they could put you out of business. It just is as simple as that. Um, so it's not malicious, but it's well, you want to make sure that they're doing what they need to do. Develop a good relationship with not only with your carrier, your subs, any find out what type of route you are on, whether it be a rural route, whether you be a walking route, a driving route. Find out where in where you're usually in the sequence of delivery, where your house is, and when you can usually expect a pickup. People in my route, I've been delivering the same route for like 7 years now. They know exactly what days and what times I'll be there. Mondays I'm going to be late. That's just nature of the beast. We're always late on Mondays because we get a shit ton of mail volume. We get 2 days of mail volume one day that we have to deliver. So Mondays are late. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday usually on time. Fridays picks up. Saturdays picks up. And so develop that relationship with them and know when you can expect them to be there. If you can develop that type of personal relationship, you'll know when they're going to be gone. You'll know when things are happening in their lives, so you can anticipate maybe disruptions in your servicer. Okay. If they feel like they are a partner in your business, they will be more apt to help you succeed. And I say that, like Tech has that good relationship with his carrier or carriers. That's what we need to do is develop that good relationship with them. Treat them like professionals and they'll treat you like a professional. You know what I'm saying? And this is funny, most letter carriers do very well as far as earned income and all that stuff. I'm just going to throw that out there. For unskilled labor, it's not a bad job to have. So if anybody you're looking for a gig or something on the side, apply. We're looking for people right now. But treat people like you want to be treated, and it'll be fine. You treat them like shit, they are not going to bend over backwards to help you whatsoever. Because all it takes is one time you having a bad day and taking it out on them. I will remember that always, and I will treat you like you treated me. So I will, if I see things, I will probably not go out of my way to accommodate them if you're an ass to me. Simple as that. But if you treat people right, they'll treat you right. Bottom line. One of the things I've seen on the posts and some of the things that people are doing is that scares me to death is, for example, there was a post of somebody left all their mail for the letter carrier to pick up. They put a plastic thing over it in case it rains and stuff. I know it's tough, but I would strongly discourage that because you don't know who that person is that's going to deliver your mail. Case in point, they may not be your regular carrier. Okay, there may be out for a sickness, illness, vacation, whatever, and you don't have a normal carrier to pick up your mail that day. So what happens is where they call them open routes, and every office has open routes almost every day. There's some offices that have 60 routes normally, and 15 to 20 of them may be open. So what they do is they take those full routes, case them up, organize the mail, they split them up into pieces. And let's say I'll do my route, which may take 8, 9 hours, 10 hours, and then they'll give me a 2-hour piece or a 1-hour piece of this other route to go do, which I will do after I finish mine. Okay, if you're used to getting your mail picked up at, let's say, 1 o'clock, and I've got that piece, I'm not going to get there till 4 or 5. Remember in the beginning I said that the mail is dispatched at certain times. The trucks don't wait on us. They will get there, they'll load what they got, and then they leave. Any mail that we bring after that sits there until the next truck comes the next day. Okay. So you want to be sure that your stuff is going out when it needs to go out. And I say that because, most carriers are supposed to scan acceptance on every package, right? Most of us do. Most of us experienced guys do. All right, because we know that, hey, it may take a little extra time, but time is money, and that's, we get paid by the hour. When somebody is hired onto the post office and is new, they are in a probationary period for 90 days, which means they can get fired for whatever, released, let go for, they don't even have to have a reason. They can just let you go. They don't like the way you look. There's no recourse to that. And so speed, they're always worried about doing it as fast as possible. Not as efficient as possible, not as effective as possible, as fast as possible. And so that's where sometimes newer people will cut corners. They'll just grab all your shit, throw in the back of the truck, and move on, because there's no matrix to make sure that they scanned your stuff acceptance. They're not held accountable for that. They should do it. There's nobody to hold them accountable for that. And so sometimes when packages get picked up and not scanned, that's because it could possibly be a new carrier doing that. So anyway, that's going off on these different rabbit holes here, but the logistics side of our business is our responsibility. We can choose to go with different providers, different carriers, but the most cost effective for most of us is through the Postal Service, and we need to coordinate a plan to make sure that is the most effective for us on a consistent day-to-day basis. Tech does a good job. He goes, he waits for his guy, girl, the carrier comes, he is out there, helps them scan, gets them lined up, shoots the shit with them for a little bit, gives them beverage. Sometimes I can bite you in the ass, because I'm going to tell you, some of the mistakes that I've made is when people are conversing with me when I'm doing some technical stuff, as he found out that the guy didn't have it on acceptance, he had it on delivery, boom, 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 click, and wasn't paying attention, and scanned them all delivered as he was picking up. Sometimes it happens, but it only happened once, and it should never happen again. Be a part of the process from start to finish. Once until it gets a scan saying that they've accepted it, then you're done with it. But until they do, it's your problem. It's your problem. It's your responsibility. Our responsibility to do that. One of the things that we have to now, and I would give you another week to figure this shit out, is have an order of operations on how you're going to move your products, how you're going to get these out to the post office and get to where there is an acceptance scan. Okay, do it feel it looks like a quarterback, running a play. He's got his primary wide receiver, checks off to the secondary, tertiary, whatever. You have to have that in place, and I would recommend testing that when you don't need it versus trying to figure it out on the fly, because that shit ain't going to work. Part of my job in the military is I was an operations chief, and that's part of what we do is take what our desired result is going to be and run it out from step one to the end, and all the freaking mitigating factors and all the contingencies and what ifs. You have to think about that, and then we run it, then we practice it, then we execute it. Pretty simple. Not really simple, but sometimes it's labor intensive, sometimes it's time intensive. I recommend doing that right now, next week, before the rush hits, okay? Because I'm going to tell you, after next Saturday, we're going to start seeing a lot of mail volume come through the post office, and it may, put a monkey wrench into our process. So there's been a couple good posts on what's an accepted stand, what's not, blah, blah, blah. Me, I'm on a one-day delivery, boom. I usually get it out same day. Most of the time I take it to my local post office. I don't even take it to my work, because my local post office is a small office. I go to church with the people that work there, blah, blah, blah. They know the deal. When they see my stuff going there, they scan them. And they see it, and I've explained to them the process for all of the people that are running a small business and how that needs to be effective. So build up that relationship. One thing I'm going to tell you, if you have a problem with a process, whether with the clerks, whether with the carriers, usually it's because they don't understand what you're trying to accomplish and where they fall into and how they factor into that. the management and supervisors aren't going to help a lot in that process. What you need to do, if you go to a post office and are having trouble, you need to go talk to their labor unions. Okay, simple as that. If you're having problems with clerks not understanding how essential their job is, go talk to their union steward. Okay, usually that's how it is to get things like that, done effectively. Support them, talk to them. If you may need to go to their union meetings once a month and do a little stand up talk to them. Say, hey, look, this is what I am. I'm a small business owner. I rely on you to do this for me to be successful. How can we get that accomplished? And doing it when they are not on the clock at a union meeting is probably the most effective ways to get that shit done. Same way with the letter carriers. If they know what it is that they need to do to help you succeed, most people will do so. When they're on the clock and they are being held accountable for every minute of their day, time is of the essence, and they may not be able to sit around and bullshit with you. And you're only talking to one when you could talk to them all. Because if everybody knows what your role is and what your business is and how essential it is, then they may be more apt to jump on board and help out and be more attentive, especially the newer ones. And the more seasoned staff will emphasize that with the junior personnel. I mean, that's just what I would recommend to any of you out there that are having problems with your local post office. Talk to your union reps. That's really the most effective way to get shit done, because I'm gonna tell you, not all people are created equal. Not all clerks are created equal. Not all letter carriers, not all supervisors and managers are created equal. Some are more effective than others in leading people, and this may work out more effectively going through the unions versus directly with the supervisors. Just my leadership type opinion, because another thing that I do in the military is I'm an enlisted leader development facilitator, and we teach leader development from E1s all the way to O5s, O6s. So it's one of those things that is something I'm pretty confident in my ability to judge people and be able to work out and help people grow and become more effective leaders. I see that's lacking in the post office. But I'm so far along as I'm just going to stay in my own little bubble, and I'm not going to move a big freaking ship like that. But anyway, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I may do a follow-up video. I'm going to have to figure out how to freaking post this on the site. But just pay attention to how things are, and remember, it is your responsibility, our responsibility, to take that item and get it to where it is accepted by the post office or whatever carrier. And once that is, you're free. Okay, it's up to them to get it to where it needs to go. Until that happens, it doesn't matter all the runarounds in this. It is still our responsibility. So have your primary plan, your secondary, your tertiary, and just make it happen. Like when the Chiefs mess, we always say results, not excuses. There's usually just an excuse for things not getting done. We got from here to here, there is no excuse, none whatsoever, to not get it to this point where they take acceptance of it and scan it and move on with the process. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I can do a follow-up video, whatever. I don't care. I'm freaking busy. I do my reselling, my activities. I get up at 0400, do a little stuff with the dogs and animals, and then from 4:30 to 6 is my reselling time. So that's when I'm listing stuff. And then when I get home from work, I'm working 8-10 hour days, and then I'll have military stuff I got to do at night, which I'm about ready to retire, so that'll be done. And then do my picking and packing later at night, and then start it over the next day. So you got to make it happen. Results, not excuses. Just remember that. And I wish everybody the best of this holiday season, and it's going to get crazy. Just deal with it and be flexible. All right, have a good one. Bye.